let's look at the men's tournament now. Both of you boys, a little bit of skin in the game on this one, you know. Right, let's start with Kenny and Whindersson Nunes. That's the fight that's going to close out the evening.
The main event.
How's
that sound, Daly, man? Main event, Kenny.
I mean, for me, being his older brother and his coach, just to see his progression from only in 2021.
We talked about the video.
You know, first ever starting boxing, and then to see him like his name there headlining on DAZN. It's like a crazy journey for him.
And Globo in Brazil. I mean, in Brazil, this thing's going on.
Yeah, they all know who he is. But you know, the hard work has been done, and you know, when the bell rings, it's all down to him. There's nothing I can do. Yeah. It's all down to him, and he's just got to remain calm. And I've told him to like enjoy being a villain for this one, because they're going to be, you know, like Floyd Mayweather. He used to like thrive on, you know, stuff like that.
It is crazy. I'm just having dinner in our hotel, and I'm at the bar, and everyone working there's Brazilian. It's only when you start looking around Dublin, you suddenly realise, hang on, it feels like half the population is Brazilian. Whindersson Nunes, an absolute superstar. How do you think that Kenny will react if he comes out to boos? I mean, it's not something he's ever really used to, is it?
But you know, the thing with Kenny is, I think because of the environment he is in, like professional boxing, he's around the pros. I think, you know, people always expecting more from Kenny, and they're not giving him really a chance to, like, you know, progress, because they're expecting him to be, you know, because obviously I talk highly about him. He trains, you know, he spars with my pros, you know what I mean? And everyone knows about it. So it's like everyone's expecting him to already be here, you know? And, you know, he's had hard fights as well. He's jumped straight in against Tempa, Sensei. You know, even the Raksu one, people thought, oh, that was going to be an easy fight. I was one of the only ones saying, no, it's not an easy fight. He's got experience. It's going to be one of his toughest fights, you know. So I always feel like Kenny always has to prove something to people. You know?
Talking about proving, in that quarterfinal, he proved a lot. I mean, there was pressure. Perhaps it was just a conversation of pressure, but there was seemingly pressure on his shoulders after a disappointing performance beforehand. He delivered. Undeniably. What's the difference between Kenny going into that fight and going into this weekend?
For me, it ain't about Whindersson Nunes, it ain't about Nate, it ain't about anyone. It's because I'm trying to teach him the right way. And when you teach someone the right way, some things are going to suffer. And, you know, when you're trying to teach someone, I understand it's influencer boxing and the fans want to see this and that and everything. I get that. And after the Raksu fight, I had to even evaluate everything I was doing and be like, you know what, I've got to find a balance how I can still stay true to what I'm doing, but also give the fans what they want to see. But you know, things are gonna suffer like it did in the Raksu fight when you're trying to teach someone the right way, the fundamentals. Like, he's my younger brother first, right? I know the dangers of boxing, you can die in there. These influencers are wearing 10-ounce gloves. You know, it ain't something to mess around with.
Still so wild to think
you know,
about, bro.
so no head guards. And this is what I keep telling people. You've got, you know, amateur boxers that have had 70, 80 fights. They turn pro and they're only fighting in front of 500, 1,000 people for their pro debuts. These guys are getting in 10-ounce gloves, no head guard, in front of thousands of people. That's a lot of pressure, but it also shows character. All these people doing this.
100%.
Yep. So some things suffer. Obviously, it was the output, because obviously I've been working on keeping himself safe. And people might say, oh yeah, Kenny don't throw enough punches. But I'd rather him, you know, learn how to defend himself than him get hurt or laying in a hospital bed, right? So with learning the fundamentals, and he's still a novice, we've still got loads to do when it comes to, you know, defense and fundamentals, all that. But all I've said, right, okay, they want to see some action, they want to see war. Okay, now I'm going to chuck you in the deep end, because you know, I can't treat you like a pro fighter where we've got time on our hands and you get built the right way. You're getting chucked in with all these people. So let's go then. Let's do it in a way where I'm still teaching you, but I'm going to put you in the doghouse.
Yeah.
So he's been sparring. He ain't sparred anyone at his level. He's been sparring Martin Foru, my undefeated pro. He's been sparring George Mitchell. I've been bringing in professional fighters from outside, undefeated professional fighters. I've been bringing in high-level national champions, amateur champions, and he is there, right there with him now, you know. And the things he's doing in sparring is crazy, man.
When you hear all that, Leon, you know, you haven't really, you know, we wanted to get your thoughts. When you see Kenny, from an outside perspective, you hear all that. What do you make of Kenny as a fighter?
He's hungry, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's hungry. He wants to get better, and he's enjoying the sport, and he needs the sport. He needs it because you got other people in his group. That's his identity now. Boxing is his identity in that group.
Yeah.
He's the boxer.
Yeah.
So he needs to keep
Out of
winning.
the beta squad.
Yeah. He needs to keep winning. And he's got the pressure from that as well. But he loves the game, and he wants to get better at the game. He's a student of the game.
You've been studying him though, right?
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
I mean, we sat at this very table not too long ago, and you said, you know, I want that chess match with
Yeah,
Daly.
yeah. Because competition, isn't it? I love competition.
You rise to the occasion.
Yeah, you have to rise to the occasion, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great minds, great battles.
Well, okay, you're sitting here with Daly right now.
Yeah.
If you were to pick out one flaw with Kenny,
Kenny.
And he has many. He's a novice.
well, everybody.
Okay. He doesn't know where he is in the fight, whether he's up, whether he's losing or whatnot. He doesn't know how to manage the round. He's more on it, but it's because the level. They're more on impulse fighters. But it can't. But it could have changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Last time I seen him, he's gonna be better this time, I believe.
Well, let's talk about it for Whindersson.
Whindersson, I think he beats Whindersson. I believe he beats Whindersson.
Why?
How?
Why?
Yeah. Why? How?
I think he's more hungry. He's going to execute the distance. He's going to manage the distance way better. I think he's going to have total control of the distance. That's what I believe.
Has to.
That's what I believe.
Has to.
If Whindersson breaks the distance early, then the duration of the fight could change. But I think Kenny knows how to move right, move behind the jab right, the feints. It's tough. It's tough. You know why it's tough? Because a lot of these YouTubers have ego. Once their ego is exposed, the game plan goes out the window.
True.
Then it's Kenny by himself,
Then
not
it's-
with Daly.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Same with Gib. If the ego gets exposed, it's Gib by himself now, not with Leona Abdul.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I put him in the trenches.
Yeah.
And not just in training, but mentally as well. You know, I want him to understand, like, you know, I want him to come back to the corner and be like, yeah, I won that round. You know what I mean? I want him to know when he's in there. Like, for example, you've heard me in the corners for these influencers with Deji and I don't talk like that with my pro fighters.
Yeah.
You know, with the influencers, like playing a computer game.
Yep.
You know, you have to keep talking and guiding
lot
and
of
guiding
reinforcement,
because if you don't, you know, they're not experienced enough to change things in the fight by themselves. You know, so that's what I've been working on. We've done pad work and stuff like that, but the focus ain't been pad work for this camp. It's been more about understanding when you can expose someone, understanding when you can move off, understanding when to use a jab, when to go to the body, when to move in. You know, all these little things and ingredients you need to become a great fighter. That's what he's been doing in his camp, because against Whindersson, I want him to be great in every department. Not just his range, because he's got good range.
Do you see Nunes as Kenny's toughest test so far?
No.
I don't think. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I wear the breakdown T-shirt loud and proud. I think his toughest test was Sensei. I always will say that. And that's just, may look at it as biased, but I think it's just me being honest.
From a technical point of view, Sensei. From expectation point of view, Raksu, because everyone expected Kenny to go there and, you know, beat him up when it wasn't like that.
Built off the performances though, right? Like Kenny performed way better than I think a lot of people would, and even now give him credit for, in both the Temper and the Sensei fights. Very new 6'3" southpaw. What do you do? Like, how do you prepare a guy for that? And then Sensei, how do you prepare a guy for that?
And when he got rocked as well, in a professional boxing fight, you got the license. If you get wobbled like that, you get to move in and for the next phase, and we see what happens after that. But, you know, what I liked about him getting rocked is that he composed himself after that and got back to boxing.
Yeah. Let's focus on Nunes for a minute because, and wait, I'm going to come to you for this because you spent time recently with him.
Yeah.
We talk about, is this Kenny's toughest test? And you're saying no. But really,
Not in a disrespectful way.
No, but no, it's not at all, because I think you make fair points. But what we don't know is, we don't know what Whindersson Nunes is bringing. What we do know is, he's been here in Dublin for 6 weeks. That guy could be over in Brazil making more money than any of us can count up to, but he's chose to be here, commit to this game, and do this. And I said it last time, I'll say again, he is the fighter who needs this tournament the least, but perhaps wants it the most. No one wants it more than him.
Yeah. Does anyone know how much he's worth?
Loads.
I don't know the number, but from the amount of times he's sold out those comedy things, you'd have to think.
Because so that's my thing, right? I respect him as a fighter. I respect what he's doing. I respect his training. I respect that he's taking it serious. But I don't think it's more serious than what we are doing and Kenny's mindset. Kenny ain't there where Whindersson is.
He's reaching for that. Whinderson's there.
I'm just saying. I'm being truthful. If I was where Whindersson is, I'm not fighting anymore.
But it's almost like I said this on the workout earlier. It almost feels like a reverse Conor McGregor. McGregor was so hungry and he built himself up into this superstar, stacks of cash. With Nunes, he's done it. He's got the fame, the fortune, and he's chosen to come to fighting. That is pretty scary.
But yeah, Whindersson's here for the journey. Kenny's here for the win. That's how I see it. That's how I feel it.
That's the way he says. You talk to Whindersson and he says this. He's like, win, lose, don't care.
The Brazilians are still laughing.
Well, the Raksu fight.
Yeah.
So in the hotel,
yeah,
we're all depressed. Kenny goes straight to his room.
Yeah.
But you got some influencers, the ones that lost, they're all happy and partying and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's interesting.
You know what I mean? It's entertainment, but we don't want to lose. You know.
Of course not.
Talk to us about your time with Nunes, what you saw, what you learned.
Well, that's the thing. I was gonna say, he talked about wins and losses. Like to him, it doesn't matter as much as like you talked about the journey, getting better at the craft, doing the things. That's the way he thinks, at least the way he told me. Yeah. But I watched him spar. I'm not gonna give too much away because I know the enemy's sitting there to my left. But not my enemy. Don't do it daily. But you see what they want to do. Like you understand that they think Kenny is not gonna keep him out of range with his jab. They think that. They're like what he has is a stiff jab, and we're gonna get around it.
But the funny thing you say about that is, Kenny's the kind of opponent, when you look at him from the outside, you're like, he's not gonna, he won't trouble me, you know? He reminds me of like, let's say if you got in there with like a Coley, for example, where a Coley doesn't look much to look at, but he's so awkward. That's how Kenny is. Behind all those fundamentals, he's an awkward fighter. I've moved around with him myself. He's very hard to get to close the distance on. Yeah. And when you do close the distance on, he's been taught how to grab someone up, tie him up and shut everything down. And it doesn't matter how strong you are, if you tie someone up and know how to do it, you're going to shut everything they're doing down. Yep. So to look at from the outside, like Whindersson, like you're saying, Whindersson, they might look at, we're going to know how to close the distance. But when you've got a vicious jab getting in your face and to your head and to your body, and not even just your head and your body, in your gloves, in your shoulder,
all points of contact, yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to deal with. Every sparring partner that's come to spar Kenny, they think, just a YouTuber, this is going to be easy. And when they step in, as soon as they step out, they're like, he's not a YouTuber.
Right, as a boxer.
You know what I mean? So he looks easy from the outside, that, you can do this, you can do that. But when you're in there with him, I don't know, there's some things I haven't taught him. He just knows little things how to do, yeah.
I wanted to talk to both of y'all about this, because I talked to Kenny about it, and I think he feels pretty strongly that not only does the fan base think Whindersson's got this fight, he's going to move on, whatever, but I think Kenny and maybe some other people are looking at this like, okay, Whindersson's this big pay-per-view, got the Globo Brazil, fans come to the arena, potentially the promotion, looking at this and going, Whindersson's the guy, we want to win this. Like, please let Whindersson win. Do you feel any of that?
We've spoke about all that. We're ready for everything. Yeah. We're ready for the fans screaming even for a missed punch. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're ready for,
it's a big factor, by the way.
If it's a close fight,
such a big factor.
If it's a close fight,
another one.
I've already told him, if it's a close fight, Who do you think they're giving it to?
Yeah.
They're giving it to Whindersson.
Does that mean
You
you
know what I
guys
mean?
got to go in with intent because you don't want it to go to the cards?
It means your
you have
game plan
to.
has to suit the event.
Yeah.
I call it artistic damage. That's what he has to do. He has to go in there with spite, you know, but behind, you know.
Well, like you said, like feel yourself in that villain role.
Yeah.
Like embrace that, because trying to shove it away and trying to be it's not gonna like embrace that and go put it on Whindersson for it, because Whindersson's coming regardless of all the fans, all that, all the smiles. He's gonna switch it on in there.
It's down to Kenny now. If I was in his shoes, they're the kind of fighters I love to fight. Come forward, trying to take your head off. They're my favorite fighters to fight. You know what I mean? For me, they're the easiest fighters to fight because I can see every punch coming. You know what I mean? I break them down first, and then take them apart a bit later on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's it.
So how do you guys get it done, man?
I'm not giving any predictions, but if it goes to points, he has to win convincingly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Convincingly, every round like a beatdown.
In a bag, right?
Yeah, a beatdown. You know, like obviously he's not a Floyd Mayweather, but
it
Floyd
needs to be.
Mayweather
It
Gatti.
needs to
Floyd
There needs to be
Mayweather
no-
Gatti.
There needs to be no question. If there's a
Floyd,
question,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather
Yeah.
Gatti has to be
Have to
one of those
separate.
ones where Whindersson is almost ready to quit. Or it goes to points, the judges, they can't. It will
There's
be
no way.
uproar, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other one is obviously knockout, which Kenny has proved lately in a few fights, you know,
guys down.
that he's got power, and now his technique is coming, and he's understanding how to deliver punches.
Yeah.
His power's come even more. So if he's knocking people out with 16-ounce gloves and head guards cold, you know, in sparring against a guy that's never been knocked out in a fight or sparring before, a high-level fighter, 20-something fights, and then 10-ounce gloves. So all it is remains to be seen now. The job has been done in training. Now it's down to Kenny to go and showcase what he's been doing under the bright lights, because you either fold.
do you believe that Kenny can win or lose? It's down to Kenny to win or lose. If he comes in and executes as you guys put together, he will win. But if he folds, he loses. Is it down to Kenny?
Yeah, a lot
the way
of it.
this fight goes.
As I said, they're still novices. Imagine coming in a whole arena of Brazilians screaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, at least with professional boxers, they've gone through the amateurs and, you know, they've fought in some crowds and all that, and they get built slowly as well. These influencers ain't getting built. They're just getting chucked in there with whoever can sell the most, you know, what's popular and this and that. So to do that takes a lot of guts to do that, and character to come out in front of that. So I've told Kenny, listen, because I think he's going to come out second, Whindersson.
Of course, you're gonna be in there.
Yeah,
that lights are gonna be on. It's gonna be
I
cold.
just told him, take a look around and enjoy that moment.
Dance with him
When he comes out,
Let that music
enjoy,
flow.
enjoy it, man.
100%.
Because the whole point is to silence the crowd.
Okay, so I'm not even going to ask you who wins this fight, but how do you think it concludes?
No, I'll let Leon decide. We have to wait and
Let's see, Leon. What are you saying?
I think Kenny will win.
How though, man? What's he doing? We saying the concise, complete destruction decision, or are we going?
It's tough. It's tough because obviously Whindersson, Brazilian fan base, the Nunes and
Popo couldn't win out, man.
It can influence the
I don't know if
judge's
he was trying
decision.
to, but he could.
And I know how the chessboard is played out anyway. I can see it. I can see how they want the script to go, but he needs to understand where he is in the fight.
Yeah.
How to close the round properly. Significant shots,
Those last 10 seconds.
tight defense, bam, cleaner
Always.
shots.
Judges.
Yeah.
Look.
So if he can do that, and he needs to know when to push forward. Don't just be on the back foot, because that's just going to be too negative.
Yeah.
Especially with the noise and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's going to be negative. So if he can push forward, land the cleaner shots, good defense, make him miss a lot, capitalize when he misses, he can win this easy.
Can
I think he goes the
Nunes
distance.
can Nunes win this fight?
Nunes can win this fight.
Of course.
He can win this fight.
10-ounce gloves,
He
anyone can go, man.
He can. Depends on it. Gets inside, everything goes in his favour, lands good clean shots, the crowd's going mad, reads the body language from Kenny, he can capitalise.
He looks good.
Yeah.
You know, he looks good. I personally think he keeps his weight on his front foot too much.
He wants to draw out shots.
And his
wants
head
to draw
his
stuff
head
out.
is right there for the jab. And he was doing all right. He was moving all right and all that. But Philippek was.
Yeah, what was going on?
Philippek, and I have to say, I reckon the last shot that finished the fight, I've put that in slow motion.
On the grip.
And that is very, very dodgy.
We look at Nunes' footwork and his movement in that first fight. It's beautiful, but he wasn't under pressure. He could do what he wanted.
Yeah.
Do we think the fact that Kenny's a whole different beast, he's going to be coming forward, we know that Nunes will be put under pressure. Do we think that is going to just change how Nunes works? He can't do what he did in that first fight.
Listen, you watch.
He won't be able to do what he done in that first. No
I mean,
way.
he had Philippek's feet up in the air like this on that first knockdown too. There was
I mean, what fights has the Whindersson had? He had the exhibition against
Popo.
with
And that
Popo.
was impressive. Like, granted, it was an exhibition.
Exhibition.
But Popo Freitas is that fucking guy, bro. He is.
Yeah.
You know.
But it was exhibition. They're probably wearing big gloves as well.
I think they weren't in tens for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And probably some punches pulled, maybe. You know, you'd think.
And Philippek.
With all due respect, this is a different kettle.
You have to play your opponent.
Yeah.
That's it. You have to play the man in front of
It
you.
just looks like if I look at it, it just looks like Whindersson has to do a lot more.
He has to do a lot more.
For a little bit of success, right?
Yeah.
Like Kenny can, in theory, taller people, we can control the fight at range, pretty much where we want. And then when that range is broken, we talked about it. You have to be slick, but there are ways to get back to it.
But when that range is broken, if he manages to break Kenny's range, what people have to remember as well, the stuff he's been doing in training, and from day one, it's just about getting better, is if he breaks Kenny's distance, who's the bigger guy? Who's naturally the bigger, stronger guy?
A lot bigger.
So
Something
if people think that they can break,
Sensei said it. Like,
break that distance
not
and
even
think it's
Daly
going to be
just saying
easy
it, yeah.
on the inside,
The first thing
he's
Sensei
not.
told me.
And that's what I said. Kenny's an awkward inside fighter.
First thing he told me, he was like, when I clinched him, I felt he was a lot stronger than I thought he was. And it's just because you don't see it on Kenny's frame. But tall guys, lanky dudes, you carry it different, right?
Yeah, there's a dish in Nigeria called fufu, and I think that's what it is. He's been eating too much of that.
I want to push you on this one. Who takes this one?
I believe Kenny.
Kenny?
Kenny.
And how do you see this fight playing?
Like I said, man, I think that there's a lot of ways to win, honestly, for both guys here. Like we talked about, Whindersson's going to have a crowd on his side. The judges, whether you want to admit it or not, when judges hear a crowd go crazy,
Undeniable.
it does absolutely bias a little bit of what's going on. I think the last 10 seconds of every round are important as much as the first 250, but those last 10 seconds, always in a close round, leave the judges with something to look at. So I think Kenny has got a path to victory. Daly knows what that is. I think Whindersson does too. I can't call this one, man. I picked Kenny and Gibb in my finals. I want to keep it that way, but at the same time, I don't know, man.
Coming into this week, I've got to say, I've seen a lot of Whindersson stuff, and just his commitment. I think, I felt we're going to see something special from Whindersson. But honestly, following this conversation, and particularly following the open workouts earlier today, Kenny looks so impressive. It's hard to bet against Kenny.
He surprised me even today. It's like he's like the switch.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. That's why I didn't do too much with him. And
you hit him pretty hard. I was watching them pads.
Yeah, because I want it to be realistic, and he's got a fight coming up. So, that's why I didn't want to do the media workout for too long, because when he started trying to hit me,
we appreciate that, by the way. We appreciate that.
Hold back.
For me,
He was getting a couple of them through, too.
I've got to say, for me, the only way I win this bingo contest is if I pick Nunes.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to stick with
ahead.
what I thought several weeks
You
ago.
see how he tried to preface it, Daily? He's sitting right beside you. He knew better.
Because you're right. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Because Kenny, he looked great in the last round. He looked great.
Hey, listen, Andy. Say it with your chest, brother. We all here. We know. Whindersson by knockout. You said, right?
Hey, whoa!
I'm saying that's what you said.
But I'm putting that on my bingo card, okay, just to see.
Okay.